lot of lacrosse this past weekend.
Are we just done with intros?
The people know who we are.
We'll flash something.
Just sponsored by
Big Red Chewing Gum.
Sure.
Big Red Chewing Gum. Sorry about your Big Red.
Yeah. The office was
terrible timing for Big Red Chewing Gum to come in as a sponsor.
They thought they were going to ride the high of the quarterfinals.
Really,
and lo and behold,
really poor timing by Big Red Chewing Gum.
That sliding GB in overtime that has gone viral. I was watching on a teeny tiny screen in front of about a dozen third and fourth graders. We had just wrapped up.
I was going to say, did you do it while you were coaching?
We just wrapped up our game with Glenn Ridge. Shout out Matt Trevenin on the Princeton win.
Yeah.
And he was kind of in the background too. But all the kids were gathered around, holding up my phone, watching that it had just gone to overtime. They made that defender made that amazing play. I didn't really, in real time, you couldn't tell. It just looked like Willem Firth had kind of jumped on his back.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't tell exactly what happened. And then now, obviously, you've seen all the great angle videos. That might have been Basie that caught that, actually. Basie was there filming the game. Basie Bagnini-Nagel of Trilogy Spring Break Training videography fame. He might have caught that one. But, yeah, that was quite the ground ball.
Mm.
And then we watched a little overtime, and it sadly ended with, for me.
Despite my bad jokes last week, I hope you know that I do wish that Cornell had won and moved on.
I appreciate that. Well, your
Tigers, even just like for morale's sake.
Yeah.
We got to halftime of one of the PLL games, and through some weird idiosyncrasies, like we weren't able to like show the footage, and so we just showed the scores, and I had no context. And I was like, "Well, that looked like a good game."
What other scores it posted on?
Like Carolina.
Oh yeah, that was like that not so good game, very good game.
Yeah, so like no notes. I knew that Down Petramal had 10 goals.
Yeah.
And before going on air, our stats guy was like, he also had an assist. And I was like, cool. Thanks, Brett.
Bonus. Probably we call that the bearing the lead. Like he had an assist.
Like how many ground balls did he have?
Also 10 goals.
Yeah, so I knew that, and then everything else was just a black box. So it was just like, well, that was like I had no idea. It was like, was it a controversial goal? Was it like the sickest goal you've ever seen? No clue.
Yeah,
no clue.
The goal was meh, but the shot that Cornell I thought chased out that is a rule that
there was some controversy.
A little bit, and not controversy, but like the rule where it's like the closest to the ball when it goes out. Right?
Yes.
If you are out of bounds, you are ineligible to be the closest player.
Oh.
So that was where Hopkins guy I thought was out of bounds. Cornell guy was still in bounds, was closest. I personally, as a Cornell Big Red alum, thought it should have gone to us. They kept possession. I believe that was the one where they ended up scoring. If not that one, then the next one. But that was a huge possession regardless.
This harkens back to the Water Dogs Archers run out where Marr dove and Sowers was kind of boxing him out, and they kind of gave it to Marr. It's like if he's out of bounds, but half of his body is like, is it like...
Also, like, what is out of bounds? Is it touching out of bounds? Is your body out of bounds? Because that's exactly, if you're diving,
and half of
your body, like where the line bisects you, and you're all the way up to the edge.
Because you just get your arm, and
your ribs were exactly. So we're gonna have to get we should get a referee. We got to get Matt Palom on the podcast.
Well, you might want to say his name correctly, but
Matty
Palom. Yeah.
Palom.
All right. See if we can get Darby Boyle on this thing.
That's true. He could be a good rules interpreter. All right, first weekend of the PLL. You mentioned it. Let's go to the PLL first.
Okay.
Biggest takeaways of the weekend for you?
Oh, biggest takeaways. Well, let's start with the home team because they played 2 games.
And then they're off this weekend, right?
And they're off this weekend. So I thought Utah bouncing back in that second game was huge. I thought they really needed to at least go kind of 1-1. Kind of on the weekend, a bunch of people out.
Well, I was going to say, especially that roster is a lot different than hopefully it'll look by the end of the season. Right?
And then I think you look at like, okay, you just kind of zoom out, and it's like they gave up 9, and then they gave up 7, right?
Defensively, not bad.
I mean, if you're a defenseman you
did your job.
Like
you did your job.
we gave up 9 goals and we lost, you know? And it's like, yeah, you lost. And you lost by a comfortable margin.
Yeah,
you know?
A couple of low-scoring games out there.
So I thought them getting kind of off the mat, they were humbled by only scoring 5 goals. So to see them kind of bounce back and see certain guys step up, a little bit what they've been doing strategically, kind of like playing out, and then I mean you just look at that defense, and you're gonna be adding. And granted, a lot of offensive guys are coming back, but you're gonna be adding Aiden McGuire from Duke, #1 overall pick, and then you're gonna be adding Brett Dobson. So I think that they're gonna be in a lot of rock fights.
I was gonna say
a lot.
I'm sure the joke was made, right? Like, hey, you have all these D-middies
after scoring 5 goals.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
there was
maybe
there was a lot of banter,
but
Grant
Amon, Schreiber, right? Couple big names that add some firepower to the offense.
A lot of banter was around like the 5 goals, and you're going to be adding a D-midi. So I think that. And then I think you look at like some of the off-season kind of moves. Obviously, they're just like a little bit heightened. And Dylan Ward, who was now plays for the Redwoods, was an off-season trade. Draft day trade or right around the draft, maybe like a day or two before. He was amazing. In Cage and really
as expected.
Yeah, he's Dylan Ward. And then Levi Anderson, who was also traded along with the draft for a draft 4th rounder. Dylan Ward was a 3rd rounder. Levi Anderson was a 4th rounder, and he exploded. I mean, the 2-pointer, kind of the pass in the crease that kind of went in like,
still counts.
No one's gonna remember that a couple weeks from now. Brad Smith had one of those last year. Only I remember, or maybe some other people remember, but
people don't forget. People
but it's like forget. So Levi Anderson.
I would argue he has the potential to be one of the most underrated players in the league. I think, and you look at what he does in the NLL. For fans of the NLL and PLL, I think they kind of know, but like I think he's a guy that his size, his speed, his ability to get to the net, and his ability in box is just unmatched.
Well, and you're adding him to an offense that was already the #1 offense in the league, right? And so you look at that left side once Teat gets back, with Bowering, and now you've got exactly.
A lot of Canadian flavor.
And now you got Levi Anderson. So I think that offense just like has another, weapon that you kind of have to deal with. So I know I jumped around a little bit, but those are probably.
And that was led by our friend and colleague Kyle Sweeney, right? That offense. Kyle Sweeney getting his first head coaching.
Yep. He was acting head coach.
Yeah. Want to know? He said he's never going to be a head coach again.
That's a nice.
George Costanza walk away on top.
Between them winning and Georgetown beating UVA.
It's a good weekend for the Sweeney family.
Big weekend for the Sweeney family. Yeah, big weekend for the Sweeney family. Friend of the pod.
Yeah,
so.
Multi-time guest.
And then obviously the other thing was just Boston being idle. Which like. Pros, cons, it's kind of like the first weekend you want to be a part of it. Flip side is like you get a week, you get tape on everybody, right? And then you get guys kind of coming back into the mix that you might have been missing, or draft picks kind of joining and having a little more time to acclimate those guys. So big weekend coming up here.
It's kind of ironic too that was in Utah, and that kind of core of the Boston Cannons are the guys that were coaching in Utah, lived in Utah for a long time. But I'm sure they're excited to get back after it this weekend.
So they've got 2 big ones, and you think
it's a quasi home game being in Rhode Island.
I mean it is.
I guess they get 2.
They've got 2 games.
So they have 2 home weekends, right? Because they've got Boston later in the summer as well.
No, I think I'd have to look at that. You're not going to get 2.
They might not get 2 games there, but right? Yeah, they might be the first 2-teamer.
Well, there's a playoff weekend in Utah as well.
I'm sorry, I'm talking Rhode Island this upcoming weekend.
Yeah.
And then Boston later in the season.
I don't know if they have. I have to look at the schedule. I don't know if they have 2 games that weekend in Boston. And what I'm also saying is Utah is going to be host again.
Copy. Assuming they make the playoffs.
Well, Utah's hosting regardless.
Right.
It's just a matter of whether Archers are there,
right,
or not. So, and then you.
Yes, question in the back.
Producer Boston does have 2 home games.
There you go.
I mean, this
4 home games.
This is back to some MLL conspiracy stuff.
There we go. The Boston / Rhode Island.
Conspiracy. MLL. days.
Oh, they used to think we got the most favorable treatment. And we often got somewhat favorable treatment.
When you weren't on Boston, you always thought that they did.
Yeah, and the league was based in Boston, right? So there was always that
Totally. I mean, Philly, when we were the traveling road show, I think we played 2 games in Boston. As opposed to like one at, like in Rochester and then one on the road, right? Or one our home games always be on the road. I think both of our games against Boston were in Boston, which, I understand from an attendance standpoint, but we didn't really find that very favorable.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how they do in Rhode Island this weekend.
Yeah, so they've got. So the flip side is like, yeah, you get tape on everybody, but everybody else has got a game rep underneath them, and you saw that, I think, on Sunday with the Outlaws. Like Archers had already played a game, so yes, maybe they're a little more tired, but like they had a game under their belt. Whereas Denver, they just looked a little sloppy. Which brings us to our first game, Chaos 0-1 versus Cannons playing in their first game. So I think Chaos is in a matter of, Blaze Reardon was out on paternity leave. Austin Cal played well, but does Blaze Reardon kind of come back? And then do we get, for the Cannons, kind of like, does Mikey Weishauer? I'm assuming he's playing. I don't have a rosters as of today, but
we didn't see a single top 10 draft pick last weekend, right? So this weekend could be
first round. We didn't see first round. We saw
first round.
Yeah, we saw a top 10 pick technically with Steins, but no first rounders. And he's joining that offense. At attack, you got Holman, Nolting, and Mackesy now in his second year. Does he become more of a focal point for them offensively? And in the midfield, they're led by midfield of the year Matt Campbell. I'm assuming Weishauer joins that group, and then Drenner's out, right? He's out. He's got an injury, unfortunately. Hopefully, he's on the road to recovery. And then, a bunch of other pieces to that. So how do they kind of incorporate Weishauer? And they need a second option behind Campbell in the midfield. So assuming Weishauer fills that role, they've got some of their guys, Verdaro, et cetera, that we'll see how kind of those roles kind of play out. But for Boston, it's going to be more about what they do defensively. They were not good last year, last in the league. My understanding is they're going to bump Owen Grant down to play close, which they should.
He's a good player. He's a good player.
As opposed to split time with Ethan Rawl at LSM.
Ethan Rawl, also a pretty good player. Pretty good at getting the ball up and out.
Yeah, you want them on the field.
Yeah, it's like keep them together on the field the whole time as much as possible. And you know what? Just one of them go over the line, the other one stay back. They can alternate that part of it.
And then fast forward, Cannon's second game is against Water Dogs on Saturday. And Water Dogs, Michael Sowers will get the headline. The Milkman, Connor Farrell.
Getting right back after it. New Water Dog looks good in purple.
Does look good in purple.
Got the flip helmet up and everything. He's getting the milk chug ready to go.
I mean, he has been playing in the NLL, so he's been getting game reps.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's just hasn't been playing lacrosse. But his return, he's such a big personality.
Yeah.
He's such a kind of fun, lovable guy. And so it was great to kind of see him kind of back in the lineup.
And they'll be without CJ Kurse for another week as he and The Rock took down, who did they take down? They took down they took down the Seals. San Diego Seals. That's right. That was that side of the bracket. And then my Georgia Swarm lost to Halifax Thunderbirds. So it'll be an all Canadian final. Thunderbirds versus Toronto.
How do you feel about? Real quick side note. How do you feel about the whole game?
I mean, the Swarm. They played great that first night on Saturday, and then it's tough turnaround and enemy barn. You got to play the game, right? You got to play the game. You got to win the game. But it was another tight one, and Halifax was able to rally enough and stay enough ahead. Kind of kept that lead, and it was just not enough for the Swarm. But you got to head north of the border if you want to watch NL finals this year.
All right, rewinding to Friday night, Atlas, Whipsnakes, Atlas, impressive first victory. Their offense is still humming. They probably ask a little too much of Entenmann. Now, does Baptiste need a little time off at the end of the NLL season with the Seals being eliminated, or is he kind of back in the lineup? I think
Senator Dixon back into the fold. Looks like good as new, right?
So I totally flubbed it on the breakdown booth. I was just not the most eloquent I've ever been, but it was cool seeing we mic'd up Jack Rowlett, and he was just kind of gave Xander a little dap and just was so much respect, so great to see out here. And it was yes, like Dixon had to work so hard in terms of his road to recovery from the injury in the championship, and then to be back and be like, I don't know, he looked the same.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, granted, he's like a really savvy off-ball kind of slippery guy, but still, just the mental aspect of coming back from an injury like that and just to fit seamlessly in, just great.
Right back in. Between him, Costabile, and Anderson, they were just kind of an offensive machine. So does Whipsnakes, do they have enough juice kind of defensively to kind of withstand that? That to me is going to be kind of the biggest issue is can Whips get enough defensive stops, because they didn't in their first game, and you don't want to go kind of like 0-2 to start the season, and like both of those losses being in conference, which brings us to our next game, which is Redwoods Outlaws. Redwoods, solid win over Archers. Again, Dylan Ward was fantastic in cage. Like, they're playing against the Outlaws 0-1. If Redwoods can win this, they now have 2 wins in conference within the first 2 weeks, right? So I think, the addition of Mikey Boehm on that left side, he put up 5 points. I think all 5 were in the first half, if I'm not mistaken. I said it on the broadcast, and we remember this from our training camp days. Like, guys are in and out of the lineup. If somebody plays...
5 goals is a great way to solidify your spot in a lineup.
It's
right
like,
there.
How do you take them out?
Yeah.
I was trying to think back in terms of if we had any teammates that were like that. But it's like, if you're given the opportunity and you kind of just...
Mike Stone was probably a guy, I bet you, who earned his opportunity early on in the season and then stayed in for years and years. I would have to go back and check, but, he was D3 Middlebury guy and came in, and I'm sure it was during the NL overlap when he started. So worked his way on the team, and then had an amazing career.
I don't even think of him that way.
Right, because he had such a long career.
Yeah.
I gotta imagine that was probably at least maybe a crack in the door for him.
Yeah. So you think of them back-to-back years. Balkersell the year before, kind of earning his spot in training camp, and now
Fred Foxes, you guys did them dirty in the third quarter, just like you did us dirty in the third quarter 2 weeks ago.
And then Bame's been like, he's had like a game here, a game there, but he grabbed the bull by the horns and just had an outstanding game. So, credit to him. And that left side, like last year, they only had Ryder Garnsey. It was just like one lefty, and so now I think, like, how does he kind of fit in the mold, or does he become? Does he score 5 points again, and then it's like, what do? Like, you take him out?
Yeah.
I
feel like Ryder Garnsey, though, you could probably flex him in a couple different spots, right? You could have him play at X. You could have him play out of the midfield.
Yeah, and then for Redwoods, the big addition coming back. Obviously for Redwoods and for Outlaws, we're getting a Kevin. It's even Kavanaugh on each side.
One Kavanaugh per side. Yeah. 1-for-1 deal.
Right. And I think Denver kind of missed Pat in terms of kind of his steadying presence, his like ball distribution, his ability to kind of get other people involved. It was just like some of the sloppiness I think you saw at times. Like, if he was out there, does he like kind of make? He lives very well within kind of like the madness and the gray area. I'm trying to avoid the word chaos because there's a team called Chaos. Mm-hmm. But like, I just felt like they needed somebody like just to kind of steady everything, So
how about any funny stories? Anything in the booth? Any growing pains for weekend one that was remembering how to get back on the horse for you?
I think for me, the biggest thing was having, Joe B back in the booth.
Joe Beninati, he is the best.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's just like the ultimate pro. And God bless him. I mean, this was his first time working at PLL, and the rosters were like between NCAA and NLL, they were just like all over the place. And it was like, he's got to learn like 250 guys.
Yeah.
And then it was like, and then the 250 is going to shrink down, like, no, that guy's not playing, that guy's not playing, that guy's not playing. So, and he was no surprise, right?
Did you ever see a big shuffling in the notes?
Just like
going
to no surprise, it was like you bring up Troy Ray, and it was like led all LSMs in ground balls last year, and it's like, yes, he did. It's like I had that note as well, and it's like,
he knows his stuff for sure.
Alex Smith, like his dad being the former, I'm blank. I don't want to mess up the title, but like NFL PA, he was like the head of the NFL, and it was like right on top of it. And it was like, of course you are. Of course you are. So it was funny just having, I don't think I'd worked with him since, I don't know, like over
College years?
Like 10 years ago, maybe.
Wow.
So that, I think that one to me was just special, kind of having him join the booth and having worked with him and so long, just being able to like work with him again was cool.
And who's your crew in Providence this weekend?
So, good question. So play-by-play will be Drew Carter.
Okay.
And Jay Alter. They'll be like kind of splitting responsibilities. And then super exciting is Kylie Reese.
Nice.
Yes.
For the inaugural WL.
She'll be sideline for PLL.
Okay.
And then analyst for WLL.
She'll take your seat.
Yep.
Take your spot for the WL game.
Correct. So Kylie Reese, a friend of Trilogy. She's joined us for spring break training. For a number of years. Everyone loves her. She's fantastic.
Scored the first ever points in WL, right?
First goal ever. So super excited about having her join. And I mean, the WLL game, New York Charging, who won
current Champ Series champs,
and then going against the Boston Guard,
previous Champ Series champs. Oh yeah.
So I
know my Champ Series,
and it's it's like the home game, right, for Boston. So I'm really curious to see that game, and then like they're gonna have some different rules. So I'm really curious to see like I think the crowd is going to be awesome. Obviously polling for the Guard, led by Charlotte North, and then it's Boston, New York. It's like that just built-in kind of rivalry. Obviously the two teams being the back-to-back champs, not.
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Consecutive champs.
So I think it's gonna be hyper competitive. So I that game I'm looking forward to just being a fan for that game.
Yeah, and that is 5:30 on Saturday.
Yeah. So
are you gonna be in the stands? Are you gonna go in the booth? What are you gonna do?
I don't know what I'm gonna do because it's a weird gap.
Yeah.
I might go home.
Oh, because you have a 1 p.m. then an 8 p.m.
Yeah,
so
it's a long time to like hang out, but then it's like, do you go back just to come back? I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet.
All right. Well, quarterfinals.
Yes.
You're Princeton.
Rematch, baby.
Last Ivy team standing.
It's
so
for
I gotta jump on the bandwagon, I guess. I mean, but Penn State,
right?
I forgot you were Penn
State. 2 straight this week for you.
Man, yeah.
Well, we had 2 losses in the regular season. One was to your stupid team.
Yep.
And then
we avenged that one, all right.
Obliterated you, and then. And then Penn State first game of the regular. So, the narrative is sitting there.
It's ready.
The narrative is sitting there. We played Penn State in the first game of the regular season. They'd already played, but built an excuse, crutch, whatever you want to say. We're here. We're focused. Looking forward to exacting our revenge again.
What do you think makes this Princeton team so good?
I think you look at them offensively, right? And you better be able to put up a number. Like, I don't think anybody's holding us in check. I think we're just too deep, too many weapons. You can't really focus on if you take this guy out of the equation, it's like, who's that one guy?
Yeah.
It's like we just come at you everywhere.
And the ball movement is that was one thing that I saw in that run against Marist, where it's like there was a fast break, and I think you guys probably made 3 too many passes on the fast break. It's like, yeah, that's a good pass. No, that's a good pass too. And then Palumbo just kind of came around his guy and scored. I'm like, that was probably the worst option, and it was still a great option. So.
And it just feels like Tucker Wade can just get one
whenever
he wants.
They showed the Marist coach after he stung that one. After he stung that one on the run, far corner, they showed the Marist coach, and he was just like what I don't even know. What do you do there? What do you do? How do you stop?
Having a Wade on the roster just makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside, like everything's going to be okay. So just we just have so much firepower, and I think Tucker Wade's the best offensive midfielder in the country, and can seemingly run by anyone. And if his hands are free at any time, the ball's going to goal.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel good.
The ability to shoot by every guy on that roster is pretty ridiculous.
I mean,
and our defense is good too.
Yeah.
I was going to get to that. I think we're a really good team.
Yeah.
My favorite part.
We're the number 1 seed for a reason.
We're
really good in cage. Our defense is good. I love our short sticks. McMeekin, I like what he brings to the face-off dot. I'm just saying, unless you're gonna put up, you got to put up like 15 to have a puncher's chance against us.
My favorite part of that whole game watching was they showed the huddle, and all the guys have that new flip-up mask, and every guy just had their helmet up on their head. Didn't flip it up. Didn't the one thing that it can do differently. Like, no, I'm just going to go the old school helmet
It's going to take some time.
Notre Dame's Hopkins, evil empires.
Is this another tie?
Yeah. I hope both teams lose.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of those two teams will advance to the Final Four.
Notre Dame looked pretty good.
Yeah. That Yago kid, his story is pretty cool.
The Jeffrey kid.
Yeah, I mean, they're good.
They're just
Don't
good.
get me wrong, they're good.
Doesn't
make me like them, but they're good.
Sean Light's really. I mean, they're just really good.
Yeah, and then Yale almost broke through for the.
Real quick, the other thing was like, I thought Jacksonville like early on like was getting looks, had the ball, and then like the quarter ends, and it's like, oh my god.
12-2 or something.
It's like, I don't know, was it 6-1 after one?
Oh, the first quarter, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh my good lord.
They finished most of their possessions with goals.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about that. Yeah, okay. Q's Carolina. We're going to just gloss over you already talked about Cornell Hopkins. We don't need to relive that again.
Yeah.
Q's Carolina.
That's going to be an interesting one. We'll see if Duffy is healthy.
Yep. Didn't seem to matter against Albany, but they're going to need him against Q's.
Yeah. I mean, Don Petronimala, I'd say he's got the hot hand right now with 10 goals, decent little output.
They're going to need Duffy to play.
And one assist. How dare you?
And one assist, right. Thank you, producer, answer to that note. But Yale gave Syracuse everything they could handle. How about that around-the-world attempt with 10 seconds left? Jimmy McCool, those two saves at the end. I was like, oh! And then the guy, was that Blakicki? It might have been Blakicki that went around the world. It was a great take.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's your last shot. It's your last shot to tie the game. You might want to take a second, but
I wonder how big of a Q's contingency is going to be at Hofstra.
That's going to be a nice, probably.
Given the New York and then the Long Island, like how many Long Island guys are on the team, like I'm anticipating a heavy Q's faithful kind of showing up.
You think they're going to pull the old buy every seat and block out the UNC fans?
I'm just like, I think you're going to see a heavy.
Yeah, I mean, you got the storyline of the Spallina family and that, their experience both with lizards and... Yeah, it's going to be. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Spallinas in that crowd, absolutely.
Yes.
And then even more on the Syracuse fan side. Georgetown, Duke. Georgetown. You know what year they were last in the Final Four?
I have a range.
Okay.
And
I do know the answer. I looked it up.
It starts with a 19-9. So they probably made it in like 98, 99.
Which one?
Oh my god!
Yeah,
so
you got a 50-50 shot here. Are you thinking Waleed Haj?
No.
Who are you?
No. It was before them.
Oh,
it was before them.
Haj? Oh
Nope.
Yeah.
They didn't make it. They've been to the quarter. 99.
Ding ding ding! You were right.
Wow.
1999 was the last Final Four appearance for the Hoyas.
Yeah, it's this has been their nemesis.
But Duke has been there before, but also is a little bit of an underdog coming into this one. So
you think
Duke is the underdog?
I don't know.
You don't think so?
Their
experience with the Final Fours, and
I'd have to look at the line, but I would imagine Duke's the favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised by that, but
yeah.
Yeah, that should be an exciting game. And
I thought Drew Carter and Kark were great on that call.
Yeah,
that game was
UVA defensemen are terrifying. It was at one point late in the game. I'm like, they're chasing them around like a little kid lacrosse. Like Georgetown's like running away for their lives. I'm like, dodge at them. And a couple times they did, and these defenders just go over the head and strip them. That was like that game. That was insane. That was probably the most game I watched of all of them, and I was like scared for the Georgetown Hoyas.
It was like there was a stretch though. It was like a hot mess.
balls getting thrown everywhere, a
Georgetown-
turnover on every clear for like a
George-
full quarter.
Georgetown couldn't clear, and UVA was like, "Don't worry, we'll go off sides.
Anytime we'll give it back to you.
We'll give it right. We'll give you another
That was
chance."
like late in the third, early fourth quarter. I
Yes.
think. Yeah, it was like turnover after turnover after turnover. But
Yeah.
like the pace was bing, 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 bing.
Yeah. Georgetown, when they actually get the ball after the clear, they were steady. They were solid. They got organized. They got their looks. I thought they looked pretty good. And then defensively, when they played 6-on-6, I also thought they were pretty good.
If you're Colgate, are you just
right.
oh, come on.
Yeah.
These guys they're just crushing it, the brothers.
The Duke-Richmond thing, where do you stand in the whole, like, Richmond got hosed thing? Because
Being on several Cornell teams that I feel like got like hosed in seeding, it sucks, but it's motivation, and you gotta win big games every week.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think unless you're a 1 or a 2 seed,
yeah.
you're not getting a cakewalk.
Yeah.
Should they have been a 1 or a 2 seed? Maybe you could make that argument they should be the 2 seed, but I still think they're at best of 3. And then it's like,
So you're playing Georgetown instead of Duke.
It's like, other than the 2 play-in games,
Right.
you're really still getting a very, very tough opponent.
And then when you get to the next round, guess what?
That's the part that I'm like, you got to use that as motivation and not a crutch. And I think they did. And I watched some of that game, and I was like, oh man, Duke's done. Richmond's rolling. And then I turned it off and had to go do something. Late, they were up late, and I was like, okay, they got this. And then I turned it back on, saw Duke had won, and it's like,
because we got out of our game, and Dana Boyle, who's the sideline reporter, pulled it up like on her phone, and it was like late, and I was like, and then they were like, Duke's on this run. I was like, wait a second, so Richmond was up 12-9 with like
5 or 6 minutes,
and
not long. It was they were up towards the back half of the fourth quarter, and same thing. I was like, okay, this is done. They'll be able to protect this.
Yeah.
But
It was just fun. There was so much banter around it, and I'm kind of like, I get it, but it's also like,
to be the best, you got to beat the best.
it's the playoffs. Like, you're going to have to beat somebody.
Exactly.
And like, on top of that, like, okay, age-old question, like, it's the same thing with like, when a coach is fired, right? Or it's like, okay, well, who you want so-and-so coach fired? And I'm talking about just all sports. Like, okay, well, who are you going to hire? Well, if you don't have that answer, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, great, you got hosed, you have to play Duke. Okay, well then,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
who you want to play Georgetown instead? They just beat UVA. Like,
your only 2 easier games would have been Marist or Albany, which, again, those teams got beat handily, but that's not because they were worse. It's because they played 2 juggernauts who hit their stride
and
perfectly.
Jacksonville and the Notre Dame Jacksonville game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's our medium take on the hot take round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You play to win the game. You play to win the game. So we got Final Four: Delaware and Hofstra.
Mm-hmm.
You will be
Quarterfinals.
in
Quarterfinals.
Okay, quarterfinals. Yeah. You'll be in Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah. I-95 corridor is a lot
buzzing with lacrosse.
A lot of
The
action.
whole thing covers. It's like
a lot of action.
It's like all Trilogy's tournament locations here.
Yeah. You want to talk NLL championship? You want no. It's all Canada.
Hey,
Thanks, Big Red.
get on TSN if you want
Chewing
to watch
gum.
it.